Hi, it's Kelly here from NTI. We're here to talk about how to communicate with your managers. I'm joined by a special guest, Jo Tai, the HR and Compliance Manager for SRT Logistics. This is a burning issue in the transport and logistics sector, and communication is the oil that makes our organisations run. So fantastic. Jo, thanks for being here today.
Thanks, Kelly. Thanks for inviting me.
So let's start with a real simple one. What is communication?
For me, communication takes lots of forms, and I think it's just having an awareness that you communicate differently with different people. And, those with children amongst us will know that we often speak to our children differently as we might speak to our co-workers, to our friends and to our parents. So we do that automatically without even thinking about it. We need to take those skills into the workplace and think about who we're communicating at work with as well.
For sure. And I think you made a good comment before about the way that we talk to others is different depending on the context and the person that we're talking to, but it also can be different depending on the environment, right?
Absolutely. So, we try and make sure at work that all our communication is professional no matter where the context. And culturally as a business, it's really important to be mindful of those different norms. But you're quite right. If you've got a manager running down the hallway trying to juggle 3 phones and 5 inquiries, trying to communicate with them at that time's just not practical. Equally, in the yard, we try and make sure that we don't distract others. It's really, if I've got a burning question I'm dying to ask somebody, but if they're in the middle of an important process, that could be a safety process, or it could just be that you haven't got their full attention, then that's not the time to talk to them about whatever issue that, whilst it's important to you, you need to think about that context as well.
Some people are morning people versus evening people, and if you're going to come with something really curly, they prefer to get it, say, at the beginning of the day so they can think it through, or maybe they want it at the end of the day so they can mull it over before they come back to you.
Absolutely, and you do. And your operations have peaks and flows. I know our business is a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week operation. So I actually try and leave my managers alone at night because I know that they will be looking and they'll be answering. And if it is really something that can wait till the next day, then I would much prefer to leave them alone. But having said that, with a 24/7 operation, you do need to communicate with people that work, 11 o'clock at night to 7 o'clock in the morning. So therefore, sometimes email is the best way to do that. Where there might have been a more appropriate method if it was a day shift person that you were dealing with.
Depends on the role too, right? Because we don't want to be distracting our drivers while they're engaged in the driving task.
With the drivers, we have empty data tablets, so we would message them as opposed to ring as our preferred. We can push messages out to either one or all drivers. For example, if there was a road weather alert and we wanted to make sure that everyone in a particular region was aware, and we'd push that out as an urgent sort of thing. But equally, we try and limit the number of contacts to our drivers while they're on the road.
We all know the difference between a good communicator and a poor communicator. Do you think that's a skill that can be learnt?
I do, and I think it's even you don't even have to be really good at it. You just have to have a bit of planning. So it's like anything that you do in life, whether it's a personal thing, a sport or a hobby or whatever, you actually take the time to think about it, and what you want to achieve. So if you are feeling that your manager's not listening to you, or you're feeling that your communication for whatever reasons ineffective, perhaps look at the way you're delivering it.
I loved your point about communication, as like any other skill requires a bit of planning, but also practice. And one of my, real tips is if you're not getting the response that you're expecting or you're hoping for, there's nothing wrong with asking for some feedback. It might be, am I not catching you at the right time of day, or, how would be the best way to share this information with you, or should we plan a regular catch up, or do you like getting it ad hoc? There's nothing wrong with asking for that feedback and giving it to your staff as well if you're not getting what you want.
Absolutely. You should never assume, you should never assume that someone's disinterested or that that they're trying to block your communication for whatever reason. It could all be, as we've said before, about that timing, effectiveness and context.
And I guess that gives your opportunity for your communication to be in the wider context of what's actually happening with everybody else, right?
I really do like the come with solutions and your friends, what are our options here? give that a little bit of thought. You're not asked to do a war and peace, business plan or whatever, but just actually go, well, look, we can't fit this freight on this particular truck. Is there, 3 things we can do? We can ring the customer and say it can come tomorrow. No, we can't do that. It needs to be on the boat tonight. Well, we can shuffle this freight that's got a bit more leak. Actually go with solutions.
I see a lot of new leaders make the mistake that they're trying to be mates with everyone, and so their communication can be quite jokey, and they're so worried about being liked that they probably go too far outside the professional bounds. Any advice for people in that area?
Again, that's a cultural thing for businesses. For me, it's been a little bit different in each business, but you have to keep that level of professionalism, because once you've gone past that, it's so hard to come back. I'm not here for everyone to like, and I think if you need that sort of reaffirmment, then perhaps being a manager isn't going to be the thing for you, because not everyone's going to like you. Firm but fair is really important, and to follow up on your word, I suppose. And the other thing is, you're not expected to have all the answers. If you actually don't know something, there's a lot of credibility to just actually say, listen, I'm not sure, I need to check, can I come back to you?